Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Kids Quack, the podcast where kids take the lead. Join join us as we dive into a variety of fun and fascinating topics, all through the eyes and voices of kids and young people, from dreams and hobbies to big ideas and curious questions. Kids Quack is your go-to place for honest and inspiring conversations. Let's explore the world together. I am here today, and I am excited to be here today, joined by Damon Foster. He is an integral part of his family business, doing good junk removal. And I think you also started a new business, thrift store, right?
Yes, sir. Doing good. Shop.
Excellent. How do you have you been to that new business?
Say the question one more time, please.
Have you been to the new business, the new thrift store?
Yes, I have, and it is thriving.
And it's thriving. That's beautiful. So let me tell you how I met Damon. I was at a Million Cups of Coffee meeting. It's sort of a they say it's not networking, but it's businesses and community leaders and business leaders, and we all get together. And Damon came to me and introduced himself and introduced his business. And at the time was doing good junk removal. Now there's two businesses, and you take part in that, right? You work with your dad and your mom on that business
I do, as well as my siblings.
as well as your siblings. So it's a family business, and you plan to grow it together. And are you excited about that?
Yes, sir. It is a
Beautiful.
new road that we're going down that we haven't done before. So
It's a lot of fun though, right? Working together with your family.
it is much laughter.
How about getting on the truck and loading up all that stuff? Is that
That is fun too, especially when we're going around to different spots, like going to deliver used items, but they're still good. Like going to deliver them to other places that can reuse them. That's fun. But if it's like non-usable, just yeeting it out of the truck.
that is fun, right? I've done that. I was a landscaper. I love pitching stuff right out the back, and that is kind of fun. And the great news is now you're even contributing to the environment because you're reusing stuff, right?
Right.
And a lot of times when you bring stuff to the landfill, there's different sections where different things go in different places. Is that right? Because I know I used to do that, where I used to have to start at one spot in the landfill and go to another spot. So everything's sort of environmental friendly.
hmm
Yeah, and then okay, so how do you see your role in the family business in the future? Do you see yourself taking it over and growing it?
So I see myself as the encourager of the group. At least that's what I'm told on my little name tag. But I also see myself as like keeping morale up, like with siblings and when things are getting a little longer in the day, when the job's going longer, I see myself like keep them into it instead of slowing down.
So you stay enthusiastic and positive the whole day, right?
I try. I try.
Yeah, even though it's hard work, and even though right now it's a little better because it's a little cooler out, but it's gonna get hot out there. Because, I worked outdoors for like my first 20 years in Florida. I was a landscaper and a pest control guy, and we always prayed for September because when June and July came, we were just dying out there. It was brutal. But so you remain positive through the heat and all the hard work and all, right?
I try. I try.
That's good because a positive attitude goes a long ways in everything in life, in business and school. Um,
It keeps
what
you going.
It does. It keeps everybody going, just like you said. It keeps the whole family going, and then if you hire some people, it keeps them because they see Damon going. The leader of the pack sets the pace. You know what I'm saying? So I always remember when we were unloading these big 18-wheeler trucks full of plants. If I took two plants, everybody behind me would take two plants. But if I started getting four, two in each hand, you would see one person after another grabbing four, two in each hand. So the leader of the pack sets the pace, and that's you, Damon. And that's what I said about you when I first met you. That's why the first thing you came up to me, introduced your business, you gave me a card. I still have it. It's right here. And I said, I went right to you, talked to your mom. I said, I got to get Damon on this show. I got to get Damon on this podcast. And she's like, let's do it. So we've been talking about it for a while. What subjects, activities do you enjoy the most in school? And you're homeschooling, right?
Yes, sir.
So what subjects and activities do you enjoy the most when you're in school? Whether it's
So this year it's a tie between English or reading. Like it's one of those and ASL, American Sign Language, which I am doing basic of, but I'm trying to catch up to where Sadie, my two sisters and one of my younger brothers are at right now. But it's it's one of my favorites right now.
That's beautiful. Sign language is really beautiful. I wish I had learned that at a young age because that's really helpful in a lot of respects because and it's also considered a second language. So that's really so I had a cousin that was deaf and I always she would show me stuff, but we didn't spend enough time together because she lived far out. But that was a great so you find that interesting, right?
I do. I do.
That's really great. And do you have any ideas about what kind of career or profession you would like to pursue, or would you like to just continue to grow the family business and open and do like you've done already, open a second and a third business?
So I have three. Um, Number one, I wouldn't mind continuing with this job, the doing good that we're doing. Number two, recently I've wanted to become a, professional football player in the NFL. Trying to work out, get better shape for that. And then the last one, I want to become a plumber. I've had recent chances by going to Lumberton last year and cutting pipes and figuring out how the toilet ran through that and all the gooey stuff. But not going to that. I went and it's fun cutting up those pipes.
Wow. So like I said, I did landscape, I did irrigation. I liked installing irrigation. I was never a plumber, but they do well. They do really well. I know for a fact because my friend, I just sent it to my mom's house to replace the water heater, and it was $1,735. I'm sure he made out some of that. So they do well. And that's a great career. And you know you'll always have a job. And you know if you start another business with employees, you get a piece of the action on every job. So you could be a very rich young man someday having three businesses, not just two. Well, really, well, that's really exciting. And actually, you're working with your parents on a second business already, which is the thrift store. And you said it's thriving
It
and
is.
doing good. Junk removal's thriving as well.
It is. Very much well it is.
That's amazing. Is there any? So you said you want to be a football player, which was leading to my next question. Is there any skill you're in? So are you going to football camp or anything?
Not yet. I'm gonna get through this year and next year, and I want to see if I can like go to like a scouting place for college, just like see if hey, could I be on your team, or see what would I have to do in order to be on this team? Like certain curriculums I have to sign in on that college campus in order to do it. You know,
Yeah, that's a great idea. So you're going to already start. You're going to already start looking into colleges now already, right?
not yet, but
Next year,
possibly.
next year
Uh,
maybe next year.
yes, starting next year.
Start knowing what you want to do. That's good because they say people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. That's huge that you're already moving along in that direction, that you're already going to start. My kids are swimmers, and now they've got college recruiters talking to them. It's really exciting stuff for parents to watch your kids grow and do all these things. And that's just exciting because now that I know you and I know your mom, I'm going to be watching you grow up too. And that was always my thing. When I was a kid, I always wanted to be a teacher, and I never did, but I feel like this is going to connect me more with kids in their futures. So I'm really excited about this. So, who are your mentors and role models that inspire you? Could be football players, could be businessmen.
Um, there are so many that it's hard to name some, but like, to give you just a few, there are my parents.
That's beautiful.
They are my siblings, whether they know it or not. They're people from church, family, friends, pastors. Um, there's these few people I like. I look at them and I see their lives. I'm like, when I grow up, I want to have their personality, or I want to have their work ethic, or I want to have their ability to look into something, or like how do I say it? Like to look at things and be like, okay, this is how we're gonna do it. This is how it's gonna be done. Um, and there is a football player. His name is Kittle, George Kittle. He's a tight end, and he's laughing through everything. He is literally laughing and like just having fun, getting hit. It sounds fun, but like there's so many people.
That's great. And you know, like you said, your inspiration is your siblings, your parents, which is beautiful, your church and and your peers in your church and your pastors and your leaders in your church, which I just love because I think everybody should have church in their life. I don't care what religion you are. I love that. That is such a significant part of life. That and faith. Faith is a beautiful thing, and that really changes a person. It gives them a positive outlook on life. And like you said, the most beautiful thing of all is a person that can take a tough situation and just laugh through it or just remain positive through it because that makes all the difference in the world. There was sometimes I watch YouTube's, of course I'm on YouTube all the time. I was watching Admiral McCraven. He was the Navy admiral who talked about how he was the Navy SEALs admiral. When he was first in Navy SEALs boot camp, they put him in this deep, cold, muddy water and then they told him, that and it was at night and they had to stay there for hours and they told him if just five of you drop out, you all the others will graduate. You all can get out of the water. And they started singing. And he
Yes.
talks about this story that they start singing and he said we were terrible. He said it's gravely out of tune, but it just one after the other they all chimed in and they all made it because of that positive attitude because it doesn't change your body temperature, but go ahead.
I actually remember reading, like I read a lot, and I mean a lot of books. And I don't remember what book it was, but I think it was How to Make Your Bed. I
That
think the
was
book was,
Admiral McCraven.
yeah, I read that book and I'm like, that is crazy. It sounds like something I would do. Like just random singing, but like just singing in mud, like mud up to your
Up to
chest.
your neck,
Oh, up to your neck, up to your neck.
freezing cold mud up to your neck, he said. And they started singing. And it's Admiral McCraven. It's make your bed. If you want to change the world, make your bed in the morning. Because if you can't start by doing the little things, you'll never be able to do the big things. That's
Right.
Admiral McCraven. And he's on YouTube. I watch him all the time. Even I watch stuff over and over again because I just love the way it's all that positive attitude, all that positive energy that made him able to graduate SEAL school, that he prevailed over so much competition and became the admiral of the entire Navy SEALs force. Ultimately, he was the team that caught bin Laden. And it's just incredible. And the whole thing about his story is the positive attitude. And it's just, and you read that. You know, what's funny is I can relate to you as a child. When I was a kid, I used to read a lot. And I remember the most important lesson I learned in my life is a teacher said I'll probably never be able to read because I'm so dyslexic. So my dad said, well, I'll just teach him to read. We used to go to the library on Saturdays and I would just read a lot of stuff like old newspapers and stuff like that and stories about people like General Admiral Craven and stuff. Reading is a great thing. And so are there any hobbies or passions you would like to explore more deeply?
Um, there's I've always had this ability where, or not ability, but like this thing where I've had it. I can almost copy another country's uh, accent. And recently, I've been using it more, and I think I'm pretty good at it. Not gonna lie. It's a British accent. That's something I want to continue on with. Um, and the other one, I want to I want to learn how to put down pipe for plumbing. Plumbing. I want to learn to put down pipe.
That's and you know the other thing we talked about when I said who I said the other thing we talked about when I said, "Is there any skills you're interested in learning?" and you said your personality is incredible, and you wanted to learn that from other people in your church and stuff, and it's just incredible how outgoing you are. And imagine if you combine that with that accent skill, you could be like a Secret Service agent. You could like fool the world with that.
Well, they could.
That would be incredible. I find that so interesting because often when you find out who is a Secret Service agent, you realize you would have never thought they were a Secret Service agent. And then I try getting them on the show, and they're like, "Well, we can't talk about anything." And I'm like, "Oh wow," because they could talk to me in private, but they can't tell me anything on a podcast that's going to be published. So I'm like, "Wow,
It could be anonymous.
It could be anonymous, but I find their whole persona, their personality, their whole everything about them, I find it fascinating. That could be you someday. Or like you said, you could just have the one a great plumbing company, which I know they do very well. Like I said, my friend is a plumber with his dad. They've worked together hand in hand for years. Ever since he was out of high school, he learned everything from his dad. And they do very, very well. And so, are there any places in the world you want to travel to? Of course, there are now. Now I know this.
Yes. So there is, I want to go somewhere that has a train. And then I want to use that train to travel to Great Britain. And then maybe after that, Switzerland.
Wow, that's amazing. That would be a really great. That would be a great. And not only Switzerland, you can go to. I think I don't. We had planned to go to Europe, and then COVID we couldn't go, and then we have never gotten back to it yet. But I think there's like trains that there's even the one that goes through a tunnel or something that takes you from England to France or something like the.
Mhm.
That would be an amazing, amazing trip. I've always wanted to go to Iceland, and I have no idea why, but I do have a fascination with. And then everybody says it's really cold, and I'm like, oh, maybe that's not a good fit for me because I hate the cold. But
Let's get the heavy jacket, you know?
I'm gonna get if we go, I'm gonna get the DeWalt battery operated heated jacket with the I believe me, I'm gonna go prepared because otherwise I'll spoil the whole trip because I'll never leave the hotel room because I'm not I grew up north and when I left I never wanted to go back in the winter. I never liked the winter. I like to play.
I I love winter, especially in Colorado. I love it. I've only seen snow once, and that was the time I was at Colorado and saw it. But I love the snow. That means I love winter. That means I love when it snows in winter.
That'd be yeah, that's beautiful. I think when I'm on vacation or something, it's okay because I can call it quits at any time and go back to the hotel and make hot chocolate. But my kids have never seen the snow yet, and they're so excited to see it. And I'm like, it'll be fun. But I know when it's on vacation, it's a lot different and literally have to wake up in the morning like I did when I was a kid in New York. Wake up in the morning, throw these jackets on. You're never warm, no matter how much you put on. Walk to school and you're still freezing cold the whole day in school because the heat doesn't work. Or if they finally do fire it up high enough, all you do is smell gas and wonder if the buildings could have burned down. If so, I
It's
always had those experiences as a child that the cold just wasn't for me. But it is fun when you're on vacation, and like you said, you love it, and you're gonna probably be in it because in Europe, I think there's snow in different places at different times.
there
Especially,
should be.
yeah,
If
absolutely.
not, I'm gonna go after the Britons.
See what happened. Global warming. No, it hasn't changed much. But so so I have this other because I know I sent you some questions up front. I wanted to ask you because there's this thing called Y Cubinator and they fund startups. So they funded things like Airbnb. Have you ever thought about creating something really cool like a startup company? Because I was thinking about it too, and I'm like, wow, that would be like they created um Airbnb was one of them. I thought that's a pretty good idea because you could travel the world like that. But I never have thought of a new startup, and I'm working on that now that I know they're out there and they're funding stuff. So now let's talk about um, let's do you have any, when you if you were to open your own plumbing business, would you do it just like your mom and dad? Would you grow it slowly with the family, your kids, your own kids and stuff?
Well, it depends on if I have kids. Um,
That's a good point.
because
But your mom's probably want to be a grandma, right?
she is
Oh,
she's
right.
already on. But
Yeah.
um, it's different with junk removal and plumbing because junk removal, if you have those kids, it's easier to do it. But for plumbing, certain parts you have to do it with just you or just one other person, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why
Because
I
like
think. Go ahead.
because like I said, I went to Lumberton, North Carolina last year on a men's mission trip with our church, and I had to go underneath the house to cut it, and there was barely enough room for me and my brother to go down there. Like it was underneath brick. Like it was, but I couldn't smell. So there's a plus with that. I
That's
don't
good.
have a sense of smell.
That's good because I actually work. I told you I was a pest control guy. I worked for Terminex. I crawled under a lot of houses, and believe me when I tell you, you're better off not smelling than smelling because it's strange down there. I actually was under a house one time, and it was hard to get to the point I got to. So, however square the house is, when you're in the middle almost, you're pretty far under the house, right? And right about when I got to that middle point, the snake came gunning for me. And I was like, I'm not one that knows snakes or not. I didn't know if it was harm. All I know is I was frozen. I was shocked. And because I
There's
think it's because I froze is why he thought maybe I was just another object because he went under me and he sailed off. And then I just started crawling out. And that's when I started planning my departure from that company because I was like, I was like, this isn't working. I did it for almost 2 years and I remember thinking this has to come to an end. If that happens again, you actually wear a bump cap, and it's like a baseball cap that's a hard hat. And first before I froze, hit my head on the
oof.
beam, and which then I froze, and then he went away, and then I decided it's time to do something else for Mr. Jeffrey, Mr. Jeff. And um uh are you gonna have school today? Or are you gonna have school
Yeah,
before you?
I started school and then I had to stop, get ready for this, and I yeah, I have school.
Yeah, yeah, and then are you gonna play any football with your dad in the backyard today, or is he?
Not today, not today, unfortunately. But on Wednesday nights we have Wednesday night church.
Or do?
At start at 6. But before we start, I have church friends there who we do like a kind of like a 4v4 two-hand touch game of football, and that's it's awesome. Not as much as tackling, but it's still awesome to be out there get rowdy, sweaty.
I love what was it, flag football when I was a kid. We used to love flag football when I was a
That
kid.
it's crazy. So I gotta tell you something else. Um, Last year around November, December, I was asked to assistant coach a flag football team, and we I did, and we won the championship. Like we won all the games but one, and then went to the last two games. We won the next to last game, and we won the last game, and we were like, we get to hold the trophy, the big one.
That's awesome. So you were pretty good at that then, right?
Yeah, we were. The team was very good. We had the best defense and the best offense.
That's
And
awesome.
so
I absolutely love. I want to start. I want to join another football. I want to join another flag football league, but I'm getting too old. I'm gonna get hurt. I know it. I
I
know
want
it.
to play. I want to join one to play.
I wanna. I really enjoyed that when I was a kid. We used to play roller hockey too, and I liked that, but I wasn't a great roller skater, so that was an issue. But I guess I could get better in time. But well, um, Damon, this has been incredible. Do you want to pitch your business, or do you want to talk about anything else in particular?
You got to hear my mom in the back.
What
Um,
did she say pitch the business? Tell everybody about the business.
you could read her mind. That's
I
crazy.
know your mom. She's so cool. Tell us about the business, Damon.
So doing good junk removal. We have we've been in this business for 2 years, 2 years now, 2 years now, which is
That's
um
huge already. And your
um
dad left his full-time job to just do this, right?
yes, after a year of us doing it. Um, so we actually didn't start as doing good junk removal. When we started, Wade, our my oldest brother, thought of the name um Junkie Monkey. And so after my youngest brother Ace heard it, he went up and down the hall saying, Junkie Monkey, Junkie Monkey. And so we thought, okay, this is this is our name. So we did it, and then a couple months in, we got a cease and desist letter from someone in Orlando, I believe. Um, someone their name was called Junk Monkey. And so we went back to our Bible verse, Galatians 6:9. And do not grow weary of doing good, for in the due time you shall reap if you do not give up. My mom was like, do not grow weary of doing good. Hmm. And so I think she prayed about it. And she was like, okay, our new name is going to be Doing Good Junk Removal because we're doing good in our community. And so that is how we became Doing Good Junk Removal. We do everything from one item pickup to a whole house clean out. We do not throw it away right away. We look at it. We go to you. We get a quote. We give we send you the quote, and then if you like it, accept it. Then we will come see what it is. We will put in a truck, and we'll do one of either three things. We will give it to someone else, give it to like Habitat for Humanity. We'll get to Habitat for Humanity if they want it. Or we will send it, give it to our own shop now. But if it is like, ew, this is disgusting, it is broken, it is no way useful at all, we will go to the dump as our last priority.
That's great. Recycling, reusing. That's beautiful because that's what we need. That kind of thinking these days because the landfills are just getting overwhelmed and that's a great. And now you have your own thrift store, just like you said, so you can either work with Habitat for Humanity or your own thrift store. That's a great connection, the two businesses. I never thought
Hmm.
of that. Yeah. And so I did hear about a little bit about what I never knew the cease and desist letter, but I know that I love that story that you had this revelation from the Bible to come up with this name. I love it. That's beautiful. Damon, I am so thankful that you joined the show. Where's your mom? Tell her to jump on and say hi to me and goodbye to me.
Jump on.
Thank you, Mrs. Delaney, for letting me talk to Damon. That was fabulous. I really
You're
enjoyed it.
welcome.
Tell your husband
You're
I said
welcome.
thank you too. That was
I
amazing.
will.
I am
Sounds
really
good.
excited about this. Thanks, Delaney. Thanks,
You're
Damon.
welcome.
Talk to you guys soon.